In today's Leeds news, new contract for Gnonto, Williams move off, Roberts now the focus, nothing in Benson, and under 21s qualify for Premier League Cup knockouts. Morning folks, Jay here on Tuesday the 23rd of January with your Leeds United news. Not a lot of stuff on the ground, 9 days left in this transfer window. Leeds yet to crank up the gears and get involved just yet. It has been a window of contract extensions for Leeds United and retaining people and maybe the odd loan out. Not a whole lot in right now, but there's some news on this. There's not a massive amount on the ground floating around. It has been really quiet, really quiet. I am going to clarify some rumours that are floating around. There is some updates on some situations, but we'll start off with the Willo Gnonto situation. And now, according to Sky Sports and The Athletic, they are saying that Leeds look to extend the stay of Willo Gnonto with the club for a little bit longer. According to the reports, they are saying that Willo Gnonto is expected now to sign a new contract at Leeds United that will extend his stay at the club beyond his current deal, which expires in summer 2027. The Athletic did report earlier this month that a new contract for the player was likely, but we've had continuous reports out of Italy all over this window about Willo Gnonto moving on. West Ham have been named as an interested party, with some places, Football Insider, saying that he was in advanced talks with West Ham, which turned out to not be the case. Everton have been a consistent club linked with him over the course of this window and the last window as well, but now, according to proper reports from Sky Sports and from The Athletic, they are stating that it looks like Willo Gnonto will extend his stay at the club, which is good news for Leeds in terms of keeping a very, very good player at the club for a little bit longer. Yes, he's not had the impact this season, the Championship, we would want him to have, but there's been a lack of game minutes there. There really has been a lack of run of games. So this week, an important week, he has currently has a hip flexor injury, which is keeping him out of the games. Hopefully we'll see if he's back during the week against Norwich, or back for the weekend, especially with that game coming up as well. So that's the situation with Willo Gnonto. Moving on to players that could be coming into Leeds and players that are not coming into Leeds. Now, according to Ben Jacobs, who was speaking with Give Me Sport, and what he has said is Leeds will now acknowledge the fact that any attempt to sign Niel Williams from Nottingham Forest won't happen. Jacobs in the report says that he expects Leeds to be very busy in the last week of the window, but that they are long-term admirers of Williams, but have now understood to have settled on the fact that any move for the player looks very, very unlikely. Nuno Espirito Santo has been public by saying that he does not want to sell the player or loan him out. The player is part of his plans. Nottingham Forest are trying to fight for their Premier League survival and also have the looming judgment of a potential 10-point deduction over their heads on the back of failing a financial fair play recently. That will be there as well. So it basically, the report says that any chance the Leeds had of bringing Neco Williams in pretty much went away when Steve Cooper left, and any chance of that move is now dead. However, Jacobs does move on to say that Leeds will turn their attention to Burnley fullback Connor Roberts now. And Jacobs said that Leeds will keep an eye on the situation on a player that they have been keeping a small eye on over the course of this window. He hasn't started the game for Burnley yet since the beginning of October, has been out of favour, and Jacobs finished off by saying that the interest in Connor Roberts is concrete and he is a concrete target for Leeds United. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on in the next couple of days. Moving on to a player that was linked with Leeds earlier this week as a potential swap or replacement for Willo Gnonto should he go to West Ham. Leeds were looking at possibly bringing in Emmanuel Benson. This came out, the Emmanuel Benson link came from Football Insider, which is now really is starting to prove to be a publication that doesn't get anything right that I can remember. Anyway, according to Sky Sports, Mark McAdams, they are stating that Emmanuel Benson and Burnley are in advanced talks with Southampton for the winger to move. Leeds are well stacked in the position with the possibility of a new contract for Willo Gnonto as well. Leeds don't really need to bring in any more wide players. You've got Dan James, you've got Jayden Anthony, you've got Chris Somerville, you've got Ian Poveda, you've got Willo Gnonto. There's plenty of cover there, and Leeds don't do it. The report states that Leeds did have some interest, but it is not the same level of interest that Football Insider reported earlier in the week. Last week, where they said that Leeds were in advanced talks to sign the player. That now looks to be very much wide of the mark completely, with Leeds having some interest in the player but have not yet opened talks. Now that could change over the course of the window. Things could happen. Bournemouth, I should say, could take back Jayden Anthony, which would free up a spot. But it does now look like, according to Sky Sports, a more credible news outlet, that Southampton will make the move for Emmanuel Benson instead of Leeds United. And then moving on to the final story of today, Leeds United under-21s have qualified for the knockout stages of the Premier League Cup. Hugely important cup competition in terms of development of the Leeds youth players, especially under-21 players playing against decent sides. They have secured their place in the knockouts after pretty much haven't played a game since the beginning of December, but Colchester's loss to the group leaders Chelsea means that Leeds can now not be caught in second place by Colchester. Leeds will have a dead rubber match against Luton, still one game left in the group, but it won't mean anything, win or lose, it won't mean anything, which would be nice for Scott Gardner to maybe try things out in that game as well. Scott Gardner will be joined in the dugout for those games by new appointee and new Leeds United coach Stuart Dowling, who has joined Scott Gardner's team, and Scott Gardner has been confirmed as the permanent manager of the Leeds United under-21 squad moving forward. It's going to be an interesting one. Leeds did win 3 of their 4 group games, have that last final match against Luton. So it'll be an interesting one to see how that game goes and who plays in that game. Darko JB obviously going out on loan and Lewis Bake going out on loan. That will weaken the under-21 sides significantly in those areas. Maybe we'll see some Charlie Greswell playing for them before the end of this window. His situation at Leeds is expected to be tied up and sorted within the next 9 days, whether that's an exit or sticking with Leeds and getting his head down and working hard to try and establish himself back in the Leeds United squad, which will be a tough one for him, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. If anything does pop up between now and tonight, we might pop on back on later on this evening with a live stream. If you're listening to this on Spotify and you want to support the channel, you can do so by giving us a review. And if you're watching it on YouTube, then you can like and subscribe, which will help this channel to grow. That's going to be it for me today, folks. Have a cracking day, and I'll talk to you later. See you. Bye.